She raised her glass like it was a trophy she'd stolen, her manicured fingers wrapping around the stem with the kind of grip that screamed possession. My mother-in-law, Evelyn, the queen of passive-aggressive empire building, who'd steamrolled my wedding plans from the floral arches to the seating chart because, darling, experience matters. She'd called me sweetheart, with an edge sharper than her diamond earrings, always scanning me like I was a knockoff purse at a high society auction. I'd bitten my tongue through it all, too wrapped up in the glow of marrying Alex to push back hard. But tonight, in this glittering Chicago ballroom overlooking Lake Michigan, with chandeliers casting shadows like judgmental whispers, I saw her true play. As the toasts began, she leaned in close, her perfume a cloying mix of lavender and entitlement. Her hand slipped under the tablecloth, quick as a card shark's, dropping a small, translucent pill into my champagne flute. It fizzed subtly, dissolving like a secret she'd been harboring.
I didn't gasp.
Didn't confront her. My heart stayed steady, trained from years of handling crises in the ER where I worked as a nurse practitioner. Instead, with a fluid motion disguised as adjusting my napkin, I swapped our glasses. Hers now mine now hers. She clinked rims with the crowd, that smug curve to her lips, and took a long, victorious sip. The room erupted in applause, but I felt the shift coming, slow at first, like the first crack in a dam. Evelyn's toast started strong, her voice booming through the microphone like she was addressing shareholders instead of family. To my son and his adventurous bride, she said, the word adventurous dripping with implication, like my career in medicine was some reckless hobby. Guests chuckled politely, forks tinkling against plates. But midway through her monologue about family legacies and proper unions, her words hitched. She paused, blinked hard, as if the lights had suddenly blinded her. Her free hand fluttered to her throat, then dropped limp. Alex, my new husband, shot me a puzzled glance from across the table, his brow furrowing. I gave him a subtle nod, my fingers already brushing the hidden button on my smartwatch, a failsafe I'd programmed weeks ago. Not out of paranoia, but preparation.
See,
this wasn't the first time Evelyn had tried to help me relax. Back during our engagement party at their sprawling estate in the suburbs, she'd insisted on brewing me a special herbal tea. For those pre-wedding jitters.
Dear.
I'd sipped it, felt the world tilt sideways, my vision blurring like I'd been hit with a sedative. I chalked it up to stress then, but later, in the quiet of my apartment, I tested a sample from the cup I'd pocketed. Benzodiazepine traces, nothing lethal, but enough to fog the mind, make you pliable. I'd started digging after that, piecing together her history like a patient chart. Evelyn wasn't just controlling, she was calculated. Old money from a line of Chicago real estate moguls. She'd married into even more influence, treating life like a board game where she always landed on collect rent. People whispered about her, former assistants who'd quit abruptly, family friends who'd distanced themselves after incidents. I found an old police report online, buried in public records, a complaint from her sister's ex-husband about tampered drinks at a holiday gathering. No charges filed, just a warning. It clicked then control through chemistry. Subtle enough to deny, devastating enough to dominate. So, I built my defenses. A discreet body cam sewn into my veil's lining.
Synced to my phone.
Blood test kit stashed in my bridal suite. Even a contact at the local precinct, an old colleague from nursing school, on speed dial.
Tonight.
As her speech faltered again, and may their future be as stable as. She trailed off, staring blankly at the crowd. Her pupils dilated wide, black pools swallowing the blue. The microphone caught her uneven breath, amplifying it through the speakers. Guests shifted uncomfortably, murmurs rippling like wind over water. I slipped from my seat, moving toward the side exit with the grace of someone excusing themselves for fresh air. My watch vibrated. Upload complete. The footage was safe, time-stamped, irrefutable. From the dimly lit hallway, lined with velvet curtains and forgotten coat racks, I monitored the feed on my phone. Evelyn gripped the podium now, her knuckles white. "I just need a moment," she muttered. But her voice cracked, echoing strangely. She laughed, then a hollow, off-key sound that sent a chill through the room. Alex stood halfway, concern etching his face, but she waved him off wildly. "Sit down, Harold." I said sit. There was no Harold here. Not among the 150 guests. Not in our lives. But to her, in that haze, he was real. A phantom from her fractured mind. The string quartet in the corner faltered, bows hovering uncertainly. A cousin near the front pulled out her phone, recording discreetly at first, then openly as Evelyn's unraveling accelerated. I didn't intervene. This was her script playing out, not mine. I'd only edited the ending. The air in the ballroom thickened. That electric tension before a storm breaks. Servers paused mid-stride. Trays balanced precariously. Someone whispered, "Is she okay?" But no one moved yet. Evelyn, ever the performer, tried to rally. "To the happy couple," she slurred, raising her empty glass like a challenge. Then her knees buckled. She caught herself on a chair, but it tipped, sending her sprawling across the dance floor in a tangle of silk and shattered poise. Gasps erupted now, real and sharp. Alex rushed forward, calling her name. I stayed hidden, breathing evenly, watching the chaos I'd anticipated unfold like clockwork. The paramedics arrived within minutes. I tipped off my contact earlier, just in case. They wheeled in their gear, efficient and detached, checking her vitals amid the stunned crowd. Evelyn was semi-coherent, babbling about lights being too bright, about someone named Harold judging her. Her husband, Richard, hovered nearby, his face ashen, mumbling apologies to no one in particular. Alex knelt beside her, conflicted loyalty twisting his features. I stepped back into view, then, calm as a triage nurse, and handed over a small vial from my purse, the original pill I'd palmed earlier, untouched. "She dropped this into my drink," I said quietly to the lead medic. He nodded, sealing it in an evidence bag without a word. Tests would confirm what I already knew, a mix of scopolamine and sedatives. Street-named Devil's Breath for its ability to erase resistance. The room buzzed now. Phones out in full force. Flashes popping like paparazzi. Evelyn's empire of influence was cracking, exposed in real time. And as they loaded her onto the stretcher, her eyes met mine for a fleeting second, wide with confusion. Stripped of control. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just held her gaze, letting the truth sink in. This wasn't revenge, it was recalibration. The night that should have been ours had become a reckoning. And the bill was coming due. The aftermath hit like a delayed reaction. The kind you see in patients after the adrenaline fades, shock settling in, questions piling up. We skipped the traditional send-off. No rice throne or limousine escape. Instead, Alex and I retreated to a quiet suite upstairs in the hotel, the city lights twinkling mockingly through the floor-to-ceiling windows. He paced the room, tie loosened, running hands through his hair. "What the hell just happened?" he asked, voice raw. I sat on the edge of the bed, slipping off my heels, and told him everything. The tea at the engagement party. The suspicious vitamins she'd pushed on me during bridal fittings. The research I'd done quietly, piecing together her pattern of subtle sabotage. Alex's face paled further. Denial flickering before acceptance dawned. She always had to be in charge, he admitted, slumping into a chair.
But this. Poisoning? God.
Sarah, why didn't you tell me? I met his eyes steadily. Because I needed proof. And because I didn't want to tear your family apart unless she forced it. He nodded slowly, the weight of it crushing him. We didn't sleep much that night. Just held each other in the dim glow of the skyline. The silence heavy with what-ifs. By morning, the videos were everywhere. Guests had uploaded clips to social media. Evelyn's slurred toast. Her collapse. The paramedics' arrival. Hashtags like wedding meltdown and toxic Emile trended locally. Snippets going viral on TikTok with dramatic soundtracks overlaid. Reporters from Chicago outlets sniffed around, calling the venue for statements. Richard, Evelyn's husband, texted Alex frantically. Hospital says it's a reaction to medication. She's stable but confused. Please come. We went. Not out of forgiveness, but necessity. The ER was sterile and buzzing. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. Evelyn lay in a private room. For dripping, monitors beeping steadily. She looked smaller without her makeup and poise. Eyes glassy, but alert. Richard stood vigil by her bed, wringing his hands. When she saw me, a flicker of recognition crossed her face, then fear. You, she whispered hoarsely. What did you do? I didn't rise to it. Instead, I pulled up a chair and laid out the facts calmly, like explaining a diagnosis. You tried to drug me, Evelyn. The pill tested positive for scopolamine. The footage shows everything. Richard's head snapped up. What footage? Alex pulled out his phone. Playing the clip from my body cam, the discreet drop, the swap. Her smug sip. Evelyn's denial crumbled, her face contorting. It was just to calm you down. You're too intense. For him. The admission hung there, ugly and bare. The police arrived shortly after. 2 detectives in plain clothes, notebooks in hand. They'd been called by the hospital after the tox screen flagged controlled substances. I handed over the evidence chain, the pill, the video, even a timeline I'd compiled of prior incidents. Evelyn clammed up, demanding a lawyer. But the damage was done. The detectives took statements, their expressions neutral but probing. This could be attempted assault, one said quietly to Richard. We'll need to investigate. As they left, Evelyn turned to Alex, tears welling. Don't let her ruin us, son. But Alex's voice was steel. You did that yourself, Mom. We left the hospital with a mix of relief and sorrow. The city streets blurred by rain. Back home in our Lincoln Park apartment, I finally let the tension uncoil. Sinking into the couch while Alex made tea, plain, no additives. But the storm wasn't over. That evening, my phone buzzed with a message from an old nursing colleague. Check Reddit. Your story's blowing up. Someone had anonymized and posted the video to r/am I the asshole and r/true off my chest. Titled, Emile tried to spike my wedding drink. I swapped glasses and let karma handle it. Comments flooded in. Support. Outrage. Legal advice. By midnight, it had crossed 100,000 views. The next few days blurred into a whirlwind of calls from family, friends, even a local news producer sniffing for an interview. We declined, focusing instead on damage control. Alex's extended family reached out, some apologetic, others distant. One aunt confessed over the phone. She did something similar at my bridal shower years ago. Offer me a relaxer pill. I felt off for days. Patterns emerged, whispers turning to confessions. Evelyn's social circle, that tight-knit group of country club elites, began fracturing. Invites to her book club dried up. A charity board she chaired asked her to step down, temporarily. Richard hired a crisis PR firm. But it was too late. The internet had latched on. Memes circulated. Evelyn's face photoshopped onto poison bottles. Captions like, "When your Emile thinks she's in a thriller movie." I didn't fuel it. But I didn't stop it either. This was accountability in the digital age. Unfiltered and unrelenting. Alex and I talked late into the nights, unpacking his childhood under her thumb, the vitamins for focus, the teas for calm. It explained his occasional anxiety, the way he'd second-guess himself. "I thought it was normal," he said, voice breaking. I held him, promising we'd build something healthier. Legal wheels turned slowly, but surely. The DA's office reviewed the case, classifying it as misdemeanor endangerment given the non-lethal dose. But with intent clear from the footage, Evelyn's lawyer negotiated a plea: community service, mandatory therapy, and a no-contact order with us. No jail time. But her record stained. Financially, it stung more. Our wedding contract, which she'd co-signed as family representative, included a clause for reimbursement if any party caused willful disruption. My attorney, a sharp woman from my hospital's legal team, invoked it. Bills tallied, venue rental, catering, even the DJ's overtime. Total, $142,000. Evelyn's trust fund covered it, transferred quietly to avoid headlines. As the check cleared, I felt a quiet vindication, not joy, but closure. We'd postponed our honeymoon to Hawaii, opting instead for a quiet drive up the coast to Michigan's dunes. There, amid crashing waves and empty beaches, we rebuilt. No poisons, no manipulations, just us, raw and real. But echoes lingered. One night, as we watched the sunset, Alex asked, "Do you regret any of it?" I shook my head. Only that it took this long to see her clearly. The truth had set us free, but at a cost that still whispered in the wind. Months passed, the viral storm fading into occasional ripples, a podcast episode dissecting toxic in-laws, a Reddit update request I ignored. Life normalized in fits and starts. I returned to the ER, channeling the ordeal into sharper instincts for spotting abuse cases. Alex dove into therapy, unpacking decades of subtle control. We renovated our apartment, painting over the neutral tones Evelyn had suggested, with bold colors that screamed independence. But shadows crept back when Richard called one rainy afternoon. "She's not well," he said, voice strained. "The therapy, it's bringing things up." Alex put him on speaker,
his jaw tight.
Richard confessed. Evelyn's sessions revealed a deeper rot, undiagnosed personality disorder, compounded by her own mother's manipulations. "She thought she was protecting you," he said to Alex, from what she saw as threats. It humanized her, but didn't excuse. We agreed to a mediated meeting. Neutral ground at a counselor's office in the Loop. Evelyn entered looking diminished. No jewelry. Simple clothes. Her eyes avoided mine at first. "I'm sorry," she said, scripted but sincere. "I was wrong." Alex pressed. "Why me? Why Sarah?" She exhaled shakily. "You were slipping away. Independent." I couldn't stand it. The session unraveled threads, her fear of abandonment, twisted into dominance. We set boundaries. Supervised visits only. No gifts. Full transparency. Evelyn nodded, tears silent. Leaving, I felt a pang, not pity, but understanding. Monsters weren't born. They were shaped. But healing was her journey, not ours. Back home, Alex and I celebrated small wins. A dinner party with friends. Laughter untainted. Yet, the internet's memory proved long. A year later, a true crime YouTuber messaged me for an interview. I declined, but watched her video, reenactments, expert commentary on familial poisoning. It garnered millions of views, reigniting debates. Evelyn's name surfaced in comments. Her privacy pierced. Richard emailed, "Please, make it stop." But I couldn't. The truth was out. A wildfire we'd sparked but no longer controlled. Instead, we focused on building forward. I started a support group at the hospital for domestic manipulation survivors, sharing anonymized stories. Alex quit his corporate job, pursuing photography, free from her guidance. Our first anniversary arrived quietly. A home-cooked meal. No fanfare. As we toasted with water, Alex smiled. To us, unspiked. Laughter bubbled. Light and true. But cracks showed. Evelyn violated the no-contact subtly. A birthday card slipped through Richard. Innocuous but loaded. We confronted via lawyer. Warning issued. She backed off. But tension simmered. Then came the lawsuit threat, her attorney claiming defamation from the viral posts. My team countered with evidence. Countersue if you dare. They dropped it. But the strain wore on Alex. She's my mom, he whispered one night. I held him. And I'm your wife. We protect each other. Therapy helped. But scars lingered. Social invites dwindled from his side. Whispers followed us at events. Aren't you the ones from that wedding video? We'd smile politely. Change subjects. Strength grew from it.
Though.
I published an article in a nursing journal on detecting covert drugging, citing anonymized cases. It went national, earning accolades. Alex's photos sold, his confidence blooming. We planned a belated honeymoon to the Rockies, hiking trails where control felt distant.
En route.
Richard called again. Evelyn in rehab. Voluntary. She's trying. Alex softened.
Tell her.
Good luck. Progress. Fragile but real. The turning point came unexpectedly. A family gathering, neutral, supervised. Evelyn arrived subdued. No airs. Conversations stayed surface. But a moment alone with me. I envy your strength, she said quietly. I never had it. No apology, redux. Just vulnerability. I nodded. Use it now. The evening ended peacefully. A tentative bridge. But trust? Earned slowly. Back home, Alex and I debriefed. One step, he said. I agreed. But kept my guard. Old habits. Life marched on, promotions. Friendships deepened. The ordeal became a story we owned. Not one that owned us. Yet, in quiet moments, I'd replay the swap, the collapse. Not with fear, but gratitude for the clarity it brought. We'd emerged stronger. Our bond forged in fire. And Evelyn? She faded into periphery. A cautionary echo. The world moved forward. But the lesson stuck. Vigilance in love. Precision in protection. As winter set in, we cozied by the fire, planning futures unscripted. No poisons, just possibilities. Time softened edges. But memories sharpened selectively. 2 years post-wedding. Evelyn's transformation surprised us. Rehab led to ongoing therapy. She volunteered at a women's shelter, channeling control into advocacy. Richard shared updates sparingly. She's different. Skepticism lingered, but evidence mounted. Apologies to estranged relatives. Donations to mental health causes. Alex visited occasionally. Solo at first. She's listening now, he'd report. I joined eventually. Cautious coffees turning to tentative dinners. No full forgiveness, but functional peace. Our lives flourished. I advanced to lead NP, specializing in toxicology education. Alex's gallery show sold out, his art raw, with personal themes. We bought a house in Evanston, suburbs with city pulse, our space, undecorated by her input. Friends joked about our infamous wedding, but we laughed along. Owning the narrative. Viral fame brought opportunities, speaking gigs on resilience. A book deal for my memoir-like guide on spotting manipulation. Royalties funded scholarships for nursing students, turning poison to purpose. Challenges persisted. Evelyn's health declined, a stroke. Mild but telling. Hospital visits tested boundaries. She gripped my hand once. "Thank you for not destroying me." I replied honestly, "You almost destroyed us." Catharsis followed. Tears shared. Alex watched, relieved. Post-recovery. She downsized, shedding excess like old skin. Our family expanded. A dog first, then talks of kids. When we're ready, we agreed. No pressure. Holidays evolved separate at first, blended later. Evelyn's presence was subdued, respectful. One Christmas, she gifted handmade scarves, no pills. Just warmth. Progress. But vigilance remained. Old wounds itched occasionally. A viral resurgence hit when a Netflix docuseries featured similar stories, referencing ours anonymously. Inquiries flooded. We directed to charities. Strength compounded. I mentored young women in toxic dynamics, drawing from experience. Alex's work evolved. Themes of freedom dominant. We traveled. Europe, Asia, worlds away from that ballroom. Reflections deepened. What if I hadn't swapped? Shuttered alternatives. Gratitude prevailed. A pivotal moment. Evelyn's confession letter. Karen. No excuses. I was broken. Tried to break you. Forgive if you can. Alex read it aloud. Voice steady. We discussed. Decided. Partial absolution. For us. Not her. Life's rhythm stabilized routines. Joys. Mundane beauties. The ordeal? A chapter closed. Lessons etched. We hosted a vow renewal. Intimate. Beachside. No toast. Just us. As waves crashed, Alex whispered, "To unbreakable bonds." I smiled. And clear glasses. Laughter sealed it. Evelyn attended. Quiet observer. No drama. Just presence. Healing circled back. Years blurred into a tapestry of growth. 5 post-wedding. Our daughter arrived, Ella. Bright-eyed. Unbound by past shadows. Evelyn met her granddaughter supervised. Eyes soft with redemption. "She's free," she murmured. We nodded. Watchful but open. Careers peaked. My clinic expanded. Alex's exhibits toured. The story faded to family lore. Told sparingly. Evelyn passed quietly at 78. Her while leaving legacies to shelters. At the funeral, Alex eulogized. Complicated, but changed. I added privately. Catalyst for our strength. Life's ironies. We raised Ella with truths. Boundaries matter. Intuition saves. The wedding video? Buried in archives. A reminder, not relic. As we aged gracefully, reflections turned philosophical, control's illusion, resilience's truth. Our love. Tested. Triumphed. In the end, the swap wasn't just a moment, it was metamorphosis. From poison to purity.
Chaos to calm.
And that lingering question, what endures? Not the drama, but the dawn after.